Meeting called to order. The Runnemede Board of Education meeting is called to order. The Board of Education is in compliance with the sunshine regulations. This meeting was appropriately advertised by notifying the retrospect, as well as posting notices in Federal Hall, the Runnemede Post Office, Mary Cole School, Align Bingham School, and Grace Daniel School. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call board members.
Amy Levy. Here. Charles Alpine.
Present.
Naomi Davidson.
Here.
Amy Farley. Here. Maria Panzarella. Here. Patricia Smith. Here. Samantha Spalding.
Here.
Lynn Terrello. Absent. John Wark.
Here.
8 present, 1 absent.
Also present, Dr. Nancy Ward, Superintendent of Schools, Joanne Augustine, Business Administrator, Marie Gallagher, Principal of Bingham and Downing Schools, Mark Iannucci, Principal Mary Gold School, Robert Mungo, Assistant Principal Mary Gold School, Janet Fiola, Child Studies Team Coordinator. At this time, Mr. Iannucci has a brief presentation. We would like to welcome the Green Team Poetry Contest winner, Carly Swanson.
Of the effort between the Runnemede schools and the Runnemede Green Team, Carly Swanson, who's in front of us today, entered and won a statewide poetry contest based on theme for recycling. Last year, Carly was a 5th grade student, was one of 12 winners throughout the state. She was at an award ceremony today in Neptune. It's a far drive. You smell the salt air, Neptune? Okay, and can you tell us some of the things you did today? Put you on the spot.
We went on stage and got a certificate, and we had lunch, and saw like a magic magician, and that was about
That's
it.
about it. Is the calendar out yet?
Not yet.
When's it coming out? Did they tell you?
They didn't say when it was, but they said they were going to send it to the schools and then begin there.
Okay. We'll get some extra copies, and we would like you to autograph one of those, so we can hang that. Let's showcase it, if that's okay. Okay. We're very proud of Carly. Did you play your game today? Did you make it back in time? How'd you do? Berlin. It's tough to
Oh, I remember those
She's
days.
had a long day, so she drove up to Neptune today, got her award. She wanted, one of her things, she wanted back to the team for field hockey. Carly is a wonderful young lady. As a 6th grade student, she's already a leader among her peers. We're very proud of her. I know mom and dad and her brother and sister are very proud of her as well. So if you would come up, I'd like Dr. Ward to come up as well, take a picture, we'd like to put it on the website for you. And again, another nice round of applause for Carly.
Ready? Let's do one word because I'm not the world's best photographer. No awards for me for photography. Good job.
Congratulations. So Carly's poem will be in a calendar, right?
What is it?
I read it, Carly. That poem, I'm on the Facebook for the Green Team, and they posted it, and I thought, oh my gosh, who wrote this? Yeah, I read it. It was phenomenal. Do you want to read it?
I have it on my phone. I mean, I have it.
It's on phone.
We would love to hear it.
You want to read it? You want me to read it?
All right, guys, now you're on the spot.
Trash to treasures. We are a little group of things. We are metals, plastics, and even rubber rings. We all had a job, a purpose to serve, a milk jug, a tin can, a car tire that wouldn't swerve. We completed our duty and we did it well, but into the recycle bin we fell. After a truck ride, some sorting and cleaning too, our little group of things came out brand new. So thanks to those who did the right thing, my friends and I are now a playground
Congratulations again, we're very proud of you, Carly. At this time, I need approval of minutes for the regular and executive minutes from September 26th. I'll make a motion. Motion made by Patty, seconded by Maria. Any questions? Roll call.
Angel Beebe?
Yes.
Charles Alpine?
Yes.
Naomi Davidson?
Yes.
Amy Farley?
Yes.
Maria Panzarella.
Yes.
Patricia Smith.
Yes.
Samantha Spalding.
Yes.
John Moore.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0.
At this time, there is correspondence, it doesn't list it on the agenda, but there's correspondence from the Runnemede Education Association President Tracy Hummel in regards to negotiations. So if you could please read that, and I will be picking a committee before the next meeting. So if you're interested in being on that committee and you do not have anything that prohibits you from being on that committee, like myself, please shoot me a phone call or a text to let me know. Okay? At this time, we are open for public comment on agenda items only. Does anybody have any questions on agenda items? No? If not, we're going to move along to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mrs. Spalding. The district enrollment as of October, not September, but October 12th was 868 students, including 15 out-of-district students. Professional development, we were very busy on October 8th. We had playground and cafeteria and instructional aides. PE teachers and coaches all take part in the CPR AED training. They will get their card from the American Red Cross. Just for your information, Belmar Fire Department wound up doing it because Runnemede wasn't available that day. The other teachers continued with the process of unpacking the Common Core standards in their professional learning community groups. Math is complete, English language arts is coming up. We also took some time to review policies on social networking and inappropriate staff conduct with teaching staff. Those policies are in your agenda. We had a meeting at the county office with the county superintendent and all of the county staff, including the business administrator. I have given you a paragraph about that. It was an excellent meeting. We met with Black Horse Pike, Belmar, and Gloucester Township, and we were very well represented by Mr. Mungo this time and Valerie Ryan, because we focused on math. The only area of concern that was expressed by the county business administrator was the district's continued support of the food program from the local budget, as you can imagine. And Joanne very clearly stated that we had once again made done some trimming, and that we have now reduced our support to this food program from the local budget by another sum of money, probably $10,000 to $15,000. Dress code survey results. There were 318 responses that we could count. There were a few more that were done electronically, but they didn't leave their name and phone number, so we didn't count them as we had said we were going to do. That's a good number. That's probably about 75% of our families, so that was really high. The results are as follows. The yes votes were 186 and the no votes were 132. Since there was a majority that said yes, the next steps are going to be to investigate the legal implications of the formal dress code of the school uniform and form a committee to begin to explore possible uniform options, present the findings and status as public meetings in upcoming months, There's a little HIV report on the other side of this, and that is all. Does anybody have any questions?
I do. I know that John brought up using the fire department as a savings. Was Belmar able to offer that savings as well, or did we still?
No, it was, they matched Runnemede's figures.
Any other questions? Joanne, do you have anything?
Just to maybe highlight some of the things that were on my report, in addition to what Dr. Ward had said about our meeting at the county office, there's a lot of various reports that are all due this week. Final reports on our IDEA grant, NCLB grant for the 11-12 year, numerous different reports on SNEERS, which is the Department of Agriculture website as far as inspection reports, verification summaries that have to do with the free and reduced lunch. In addition to that, by the end of the month, we'll have the DRKRS report, the master report for the state as well, and and we also have a Title I review that's coming in on Monday as well. So it's a little hectic and pretty busy with all kinds of state reports.
Thank you. The buildings and grounds report, principals report, nurses report, and special education reports are all attached. And I'm assuming you all had a chance to read them. Are there any questions? No? Does the PTA have anything they'd like to?
Yes, yesterday we had an assembly for the sixth, seventh, and eighth grade on texting, internet safety, and it was received very well by the school. At night, we had a parent. We had about 25 parents after that. The ones that were there were excellent, and then we had some, we did babysitting for some of them up front there. We ran a bingo for some of the kids that were there. So it seemed to go well. It's just very hard getting parents out at night. There's a lot of people with soccer and different things. Several parents asked us if we would do something every year on this at this age, because a lot of it's done at the high school age, and by that time it's kind of late for that. So if we could run some kind of, so we just need suggestions on what to do to have a night function, maybe work with RY or something, and if we're gonna have something like that, to not have anything go on that night, like they do with the dances and things at the end of the year, so maybe parents would have more time to get out. It wasn't a night that we were worried about having a lot of kids here, it was something more for parents. We realized that they got a flyer late, but it was out on Facebook and it had been, on the, website and things for parents, and, we had people go away. I was very ill for a week and missed work for an entire week, and then for me to miss work for an entire week, I had a lot to catch up with here, so, the flyer did go out late, but we hope next year, now that we know people want us to continue to go in that direction and have something at night, that's what we're gonna start working on, to try and have that type of thing. To, give the parents an education and let them ask the questions, because from what I hear, he was excellent. He answered a lot of questions for the people that were there. Next Friday night is our comedy night. If anybody would like tickets for $20, Amy has the tickets. Sarcasm Comedy Club. It's a night out for anybody that would like to go. Please help us. It'll be a $2,500 profit for us if we can sell the 200 tickets that we have.
How
we have-
close are you?
Hmm?
How close are you? To selling?
No.
No.
Maybe 50. Maybe 50 souls, we actually, it costs us $1,500 a house. So anything that we can get, at least to get that paid is a profit for us, so that's our concern. We had a book fair that was very successful, and we're getting ready now for Christmas and Santa shop.
Thank you. The only committee that met, since the last meeting was the superintendent search committee, and if you don't mind, do you want to speak about that, or do you want me to?
I can do that.
Okay.
On October 8th at the Marygold School, Amy Ferry, Samantha and I, and Lynn also met with some of the staff and had some input from them about what they would like in our new candidate for superintendent. There were several criteria that we were trying to meet, and the staff agreed with a lot of what we had said that we are looking for as well. They matched kind of what we said we were looking for. They also were very interested in somebody that has teaching experience, and someone that also knows our community is a small district and knows the special needs of a small community in our district. And so I think we're going to take everything that they said, and we're going to meet again and also get public input and put all of this together and formulate specific characteristics of what we're looking for. That would be the next step that we're going to come by.
Thank you. And I would just like to add that we were thrilled that 42 members of our staff attended this meeting, and it was, in our opinion, a fantastic, very quick discussion, and we're glad to see that we're on the same page. So that's what we're going to do this evening too, in a few minutes with the public. Thank you, Nancy. Did you have something else? I skipped over New Jersey School Board.
I don't have anything written down, but just as a reminder, our convention is coming up. Make sure you check out what classes you'd like to take. I'm not familiar with the whole listing, but it looks like there are quite a few classes that you can take once you're there. Wait in line, I believe you wait in line and get a ticket. And
The table's open an hour before on the mandated training. And I'll assume that the maybe the same on the other ones as well.
I believe the
Just
last year I
goes
went, it was 1 hour before.
Right.
I remember
And
standing in line for
I
an
have,
hour.
I have badges for you, just came in the mail today, so
Great.
after the meeting, I can give you them.
Do you have any additional update about anything that was maybe canceled or added?
I haven't received any yet, but I'm getting a slew of emails from all kinds of vendors on check out our booth for this and that, so I want to put together
A
an
little
email,
list?
yeah,
That would
to
be
you
great.
with a list of booths.
Okay, that would be great. No old business this evening, so new business. Electronic violence and vandalism report for the 2011-2000 school year. Dr. Ward?
Thank you. Every October, we are required as a school district to make a report on our report of violence and vandalism, and now we are required to report on the incidences of harassment, intimidation, and bullying from the prior school year. There were no cases in the school district that met the definition of violence or vandalism in 11-12. There were 17 total HIV reports during the 11-12 school year. 2 were found to meet the definition of HIV, harassment, intimidation, and bullying, and both were at the Maryville School. Board members, you received some backup materials in your packets regarding how we make those reports and the numbers. The initial page that you got, we are required to report in the middle of the year in January and then at the end of the year, so my totals are adding both of those reports, page 1 and page 2. Are there any questions?
Okay, thank you. At this time, we would like to open up again for public comment. And just like we did with the staff and with the committee ourselves, we wanted to get your input on what is important to you, what characteristics someone would have as a successful candidate for the position of superintendent for our schools for the 2013-2014 school year. At this time, it's not necessary to mention whom you think should be our superintendent, because that is our job to search for the best candidate. However, we just would like to know from members of the community what qualities you think this person should possess and what is important to you. What topics educationally are important to you. So at this time, would anyone from the public like to comment? Mr. Schmidt?
John Schmidt, Gloucester City. That's actually why I came tonight. You had mentioned to me last month this was happening. As you keep in mind your search, certainly probably 80 and 90% of the superintendent's job is educational based. But another component is your superintendent, as you know, runs your day-to-day school district, deals with issues that you may only hear updates about once a month unless you're the board president. And looking back over probably a year and a half now, I've been involved in some way with the Runnemede Board of Education. I think one thing I have to look at is a superintendent who is going to be transparent and open with the public, not just about educational issues, but Board of Educational issues. I go back to my first Oprah request, or one of the first Oprah requests I made regarding emails between your former BA and your former board president. And I got certain emails. Then I went through CCTS, and there were a lot more emails that I was given through CCTS. I think about a 34-page Word document, in which I emailed your new board president a week after she had taken over. I got the disc, or maybe a day or two before you reorganized. I don't know why you would hide that. So that's one example of being transparent that really comes to mind as a superintendent. And I do blame somewhat, put it on Dr. Ward, for who, you're in charge of that administrative office. Who cherry-picked those emails and did not release certain emails? I know one of them, infamously said, something about Mr. Connor's blog and himself.
Mr. Schmidt?
So,
What's important to you
so
for, besides transparency, because we're writing down, Naomi and I, everything.
So, I guess.
I don't want to turn this into an attack on
Okay, I
current
got you.
administration,
I
please.
think,
We're looking for
as you
some
move
positive input.
forward, I
Yes.
think that whoever you choose needs to have an understanding of those types of issues. That it never hurts to be transparent. It's better to be out in the open than to maybe hide, not necessarily hide something, but it never hurts to be as forthcoming as possible.
Okay,
Even
thank
if the
you.
information is good or bad or indifferent.
Thank you, okay.
Thank you. Would anyone else from the public like to comment on what is important to them, what qualities that you're looking for? Yes. Your name, please?
Cindy Mead. Are we allowed to ask what was discussed with the staff?
Yeah, we just asked them what was important. Can I see your names? And I spoke, so Ms. Davidson took notes. They just said things like, we were looking on what we were gonna put on, like for our posting in the paper. We were putting like 3 to 5 school years of teaching experience, 3 to 5 years of administrative experience. To have knowledge of the unique needs of a small K-8 district, because there's not a lot of small K-8 districts. Usually they're K-12 or pre-K-12, and we are pre-K-8, I always say. Excuse me. So some things that they said were, if you don't mind, I'll tell you, they wanted someone who had a little bit more than 3 to 5 years experience teaching. Like, so they wanted someone who was in the classroom, who could understand where they were coming from if they had an issue. They wanted, they had issues, they wanted someone to make personal connections with staff. They wanted someone who knew the community, the students, and the needs of our small town. More than 3 to 5 years. To tap the potential of the staff that we have here for decision making. They wanted them to be visible to students, to foster recognition for the positive, the wonderful thousands of positive things that happen every year in this school district. Promote positive morale amongst staff. And just to be supportive. And that's about what they said.
Great, thank you.
Do you have anything, Ms. Mead, that you would add to that?
No, I'm just new to everything, so I just wanted to know. Thank you.
They also said that they would like someone who would commit to our district and be here long-term. That's important to the staff members.
No, just for the public is tonight.
Anybody else have any questions?
Well, not a question necessarily.
Or what's important to you, Michelle?
Things that are important to me, I'm just thinking back over the past couple of years, and there was a superintendent advisory committee meeting that was out there, and that outreach to the public. Granted, not everyone took advantage of it, but quite a few of us did, and I truly believe that that driving force from the beginning was one of the reasons why our school budget passed over the past couple of years. I truly believe that. That's where it got, we talked about break it down into a level of someone like myself, how's it gonna affect me? And that I would love to see that to continue. As well as the support that I've gotten, that the Education Foundation has gotten in our startup. Just a group of people who are trying to muddle through this, and we've gotten a lot of support from Dr. Ward, and that would be something that I would love to continue whoever the next time.
Thank you.
Anything else? No? No other public comments? Well, I appreciate everybody who spoke because it's meaningful, and just so you know, our plan, Naomi is taking notes, and we're in turn putting it on the large Post-it notes behind us, so when we meet again as a committee, we're gonna have one labeled community, one labeled staff, and then we'll also have a discussion with other board members, and we'll have one labeled board. So that way, when we're looking down and we're going through the process, we continue to have them visible, so we remember what's important to our staff, what's important to our board, and what's important to our community members. So thank you all for your input. All right, where am I at? Property and transportation. At this time, I need a motion to approve items number 1 through 8. There's number 8 on the back.
I just to let everybody know that I have a copy of it, but I didn't have it for trees. Anybody would like to see it?
This
I
is
can
the
let you know that it is as well.
number 8. Oh, can I get a motion first, please?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Maria,
Second?
seconded by Charlie. Chaz? Chaz. Mr. Buckheim likes Chaz. Okay. I just wanted to let, or Dr. Ward, could you please?
Sure. This is the uniform state memorandum of agreement between education and law enforcement officials. I sat down with the chief of police and Ms. Randy joined us as well, and we discussed all of the ways that the school district and the police department work together. We are, and this was our memorandum of agreement, things that we are supposed to report to each other, things that happen in the community that affect our students, that the police reports to us, and our outreach to the police department. We have a DARE officer. We don't have an official school resource officer, but our DARE officer serves in that capacity, and that's Officer Robinson. So we have a variety of things that are in here, from DIFUS reports to arrests in the community, things like that. So if anybody would like to see it, I'm happy to show it to you or make a copy. It's a lot of pages, so I didn't want to waste pages. But we're required to do this annually.
Any questions?
I have a question. Has anything changed from the previous one? No. Last year was the first year that we included harassment, intimidation, and bullying as well. And that's been in effect since last year.
Roll call.
Angel Beebe?
Yes.
Charles Buckheim?
Yes.
Naomi Davidson?
Yes.
Amy Farah?
Yes.
Maria Panzarella?
Yes.
Patricia Smith?
Yes.
Samantha Spalding?
Yes.
And John Ward?
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0.
Under personnel, I need approval for the following items, number 1 through 9. The new agenda. Motion made by Patty, seconded by Angel. I just wanted to clarify a few things that Lynn had asked me, but since she's not here, I figured I would do it in public. For number 3, the detention monitors, it's not during the day, it's after school, so that's why they would be being paid. And for item number 5, we needed to update that job description because we did not really have one for custodian/maintenance technician. So we needed one in place. Is there any other questions on anything else? Yes.
Got a question on number 1. Are there specific guidelines for the individual for homebound instruction as far as minimum number of hours per week? And also, do they go there when there's parental supervision?
Yes, I think you can only go.
Good. Okay, I just want to make sure that was in place.
We have a number of our teachers who perform duties as homebound instructors according to their regulations and guidelines, depending on if they're special education, general education. In some instances, in this particular case, it has to do with speech and language therapy.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Angel Beebe?
Yes.
Charles Buckheim?
Yes.
Naomi Davidson?
Yes.
Amy Farah?
Yes.
Maria Panzarella?
Yes.
Patricia Smith?
Yes.
Samantha Spalding?
Yes.
And John Ward?
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0.
Under finance, I need a motion to approve items number 1 through 12.
I'd like to make a motion to approve items number 1 through 12.
Motion made by Naomi, seconded by John. I just want to have you all look at, it says 6 and then 9. Number 6, should just mark your calendars for November 7th at 6 p.m. for that special meeting. And the only reason why we're meeting is to approve QSAC reports. So if you guys could mark your calendar. Any other questions?
I have a question.
this is, and I won't hold you to an actual dollar amount, but overall, are our out of school, because we don't see the whole picture usually, are our overall out of district placements dollars, what we anticipated them being this year when we budgeted? And if so, do we have more children out of district this year than we did last year?
There's, I believe there may be one or two more. Two? Yeah. Okay. And, I try to do a good job in estimating, but you can't,
No.
because things change, could change on a daily basis. With the help of, like, the IDEA grant, that's where I try to offset any unexpected tuition costs. And so far, I'm okay. I mean, I'm using it all up.
So we have 2 more children than we did last year. So when we budgeted last year for this year, those 2 children were not in the budgetary amount.
I estimate based on, what our child study team believes are going to be students that are going to either be placed out of district, or that might have been here, they're going to be placed out of district, or what they know about incoming students. They usually get a pretty good feel, so our surprises are always going to be when someone moves into district during the year, and I can't plan for that.
The other thing that enters into it is there are sometimes out-of-district placements end up needing one-on-one assistance where we did not know that. Sometimes one-on-one assistance for busing issues that we just, some of those things we have no way to anticipate. So we kind of estimate based on prior years.
And just to add to that too, unfortunately too, the county will scrutinize our budget because we always have the detail in the support docs exactly how many we're saying are going to go and even where they're going to be placed. So you're supposed to have actual people. You can't just fluff your budget and, have that extra there. So when you have unexpected people coming to the district, it could be a burden on your budget because you've now got to transfer money from somewhere else just to pay for that.
So likewise, the $3,000 that Gloucester, we have to pay for an out-of-county fee,
Yeah,
which is
they always do that,
mind-boggling.
I know.
Camden County reciprocates that with a $3,000 fee?
They
don't
don't
have
have
one.
services. They don't have
That's why we send to Gloucester County. We don't, Camden County does not have special services school, bricks and mortar special services school district school.
But they get to charge $3,000 for having it?
For any out of county.
That's a lot.
The Gloucester County freeholders apportion quite a bit of county funds through their tax dollars from the county to run the school district. So it's largely supported by Gloucester County residents. So they do charge additional amounts, and there are probably students there from, I would say, at least the southern 7 counties in the state.
And their tuition is usually $7,000 to $10,000 less than other privates. So it's still a cost savings.
Another thing about that school, aside, they have a very specialized program for children with autism, highly specialized, and they're very close. Another requirement that we have in special education is to keep students physically, geographically as close to their home school as possible. Bankridge School, Gloucester County School is the first exit down on Route 55. You can be there in 10 minutes. Whereas if you send a student to Burlington County to a special school, or Archway down in Atco, some of those kids can be on the bus for over an hour to get to where they have to go. So those are other considerations that you have when you place students in a program like that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Roll call.
All right, just to let you know, I've corrected the number, so it's really items 1 through 10 for the number.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so 1 through 10.
Angel Beebe? Yes. Charles Buckheim?
Yes.
Naomi Davidson?
Yes.
Amy Farah?
Yes.
Maria Panzarella?
Yes.
Patricia Smith?
Yes.
Samantha Spalding?
Yes.
And John Moore? Motion carried, 8-0.
Curriculum, I need a motion to approve items number 1 through 5. Yes, they're really fun. Motion made by Patty,
Second?
seconded by Naomi. Are there any questions?
I have one.
Okay.
In terms of number 5, the co-curricular and extracurricular positions, per Marigold's, is that a principal's decision? Is there a group of people that decides? I'm assuming this is, I couldn't find the attached one.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, I just,
There it
it's
is.
right, it's down, it's in.
Oh, okay. Ah, all right, well, that's why I couldn't find it. I assume, hold on, I may not ask anymore. I do. Who, I'm only asking this, not so much for myself, but for people who have mentioned it. Are the coaches and the people that do the extracurricular, who picks those?
They submit a letter of interest at the end of the school year,
Okay,
through that, ultimately.
okay. Gotcha. All right, that was my question.
So this list here is just the rest of the school year, because we already knew the other ones, correct?
The names on the left are still noted, but only where there are actual names are who you're.
Who we're approving. Any other questions?
So these people are outsiders of the school that,
No,
Oh,
they're
okay.
all employees.
okay, thank you.
Roll call.
Angel Beebe? Yes. Charles Brookline?
Yes.
Naomi Davidson?
Yes.
Amy Clark?
Yes.
Marie Panzarella?
Yes.
Patricia Smith?
Yes.
Samantha Spalding?
Yes.
John Moore?
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0.
Under policies and public relations, I need a motion to approve items 1 through 3.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Chaz, seconded by Amy. I have a question. Number 1, please.
Okay. The reason why we had to put number 1 in is because I'm asking that these policies be adopted with 1 reading. And the reason for that is that I thought it was rather important that we ensure that we have the most updated policies on staff conduct and the use of social networking sites. In order to adopt policies on the first reading, you need to suspend item number 4, paragraph 2 of bylaw 0131, which is what you have in your packets. I put that in so you would know that. And what that states is that a suggestion for a new or revised bylaw or policy may be referred at the discretion of the president and as appropriate to the subject to the superintendent, board committee, or public advisory committee for study and formulation recommendation to the board. Any study of a policy suggestion should consider whether the matter is adequately addressed in existing board policy, whether the matter is more appropriately addressed in administrative regulation. But what this is doing is saying that you may suspend, right, so it is item number 4. You may suspend your bylaw in order to approve on first reading. So you need to suspend your bylaw just for this meeting alone, and then you can approve those 2 policies with 1 reading instead of 2.
So effective immediately.
Effective
To approve.
Yes.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Since you suspended, do you have to reinstate it? We're only suspending it for this meeting.
So it just automatically gets
It's
reinstated?
suspension, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Angel Beebe? Yes. Charles Brookline?
Yes.
Naomi Davidson?
Yes.
Amy Clark?
Yes.
Marie Panzarella?
Yes.
Patricia Smith?
Yes.
Samantha Spalding?
Yes.
And John Moore?
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0.
At this time, we are open again for any public comments on any item. The public is reminded that all public complaints against a district employee must be made through a specific grievance process. A description of this process may be found in Board of Ed Policy File Code 0167. This policy is available upon request in the Office of the Board Secretary. Any individual naming an employee in a complaint before the Board of Education without the employee's permission could be cited for violating that employee's civil and contractual rights. This time, are there any public comments? Mrs. Wilson?
Yes, I forgot to bring up what's important, making special to board members, that on November 1st at our PTA workshop meeting, I've invited the candidates, they will bring an 11 there, to come and introduce themselves to the public, to be sending a flyer out to the parents, down on the marquee already. This is the time, as you did before, board members who are running, come, who are you, why are you running for the board, and anything you would would like people to know about you and your family, your background. And that will be before our workshop meeting on November 1st at 7 o'clock here.
Thank you. Mr. Connor, you got your hand up?
Yeah, under property and transportation, number 6, can you explain that?
This is what we,
One of our student recognition programs is Student of the Month, and one of the activities we started last year was a Student of the Month luncheon for the kids, and we have an agreement with Philly Diner, where we take the kids to Philly Diner for a luncheon to recognize them for their
Okay.
achievements. Instead of getting a bus with First Student of Holcomb for $250, Black Horse Pike was nice enough, they have a bus that holds approximately 24 students, or 32 students, I can't remember which one it is, and they provide us, it's about a 2-hour window that they take us up there, pick us up from school and bring us back here. It's a supervised event, but there's teachers that go as well, but
Okay.
it's just saving us some money from getting a giant bus and for a limited period of time.
All right, thank you.
Mrs. Barry. Mr. Schmidt.
John Schmidt, Gloucester City, New Jersey. Just, I'm gonna direct my comments to you. If you could pass one to Mr. Stern, appreciate the phone call today, and the heads up. And I will make an attempt to be here next month's meeting. That's gonna be the third week. This is the Thanksgiving holiday.
It's the 28th.
You want Thanksgiving the next day?
Thanksgiving's
No,
the
week
week
before.
before.
Week
Okay, okay, so it'll be on the
Okay.
last Wednesday. I will try to make it.
Okay, and just so I can update the board and the public, Mr. Stern, our board solicitor, will be here to talk about a concern that Mr. Schmidt raised to me about executive session minutes. So he will be here to talk to the public about, to do a little brief presentation about executive session minutes. And so I just wanted to let you guys know, so he will be coming to our next, he won't be coming to our special meeting, he'll be coming to our next board meeting. I will let him know, thank you.
I also raised the question with him, I'm not sure if he passed on or something like that, I'll ask you after the meeting if that's okay. Could you explain to me though, for, I guess, unionized employees, what the grievance policy is? If the public wish to speak about an employee?
At a meeting?
Yes.
So what do you mean by the grievance policy?
Well, it always,
What
I
do you-
always,
What you
So you're saying
just
the
read.
policy that says is 01 is the bylaw?
file code 0167.
167? I actually don't have that handy tonight, so I wouldn't be doing it justice just to say it off the top of my head, but I'd be happy to go and get that bylaw for you after the meeting so you can see.
So your question is like, what would you have to go through?
Yes, I mean, I don't know if I
Well,
wish to go down that route.
But we'll definitely get the.
Well-
For right now, I mean, I posed the
right, and
question
so it would
off.
certainly be, if there's any
but-
concern about an employee, you would always follow the chain of command, which would be to raise whatever your issue would be to the immediate supervisor of the employee. And then that supervisor, if they didn't satisfy whatever concern that you had, it would come to me, and then if I didn't resolve it, it would go to the board. So you think in terms of point of static, immediate supervisor, and then chain of command to the board if you're not satisfied.
It's more of a legal issue. I did mention it to pose the question to Mr. Stern why I was talking to him today. He never thought about that, the question that I posed. So I guess I'll get the policy. I don't wish to discuss it publicly, but in the event that there may be a need to down the road.
We'll make sure you have that policy and we'll speak to Mr. Stern. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comments at this time? No? There's no need for executive,
I just wanna
you
ask
had a
a question.
I'm sorry.
What is our policy on us calling, parents when children aren't in school?
For attendance, our nurses typically follow up every day if they don't get a call.
do we have a policy?
It's a procedure.
So the reason I'm asking is because in light of what happened with that little girl last week and over the weekend, I watched the superintendent and school board president go on the news, and they said their policy was to make a phone call, and they left a message. They never spoke to anyone, and obviously we know what happened, and not that that would have made a difference in her destiny or what tragedy had happened to her. My concern is she was walking the same distance that I live from school, and that many middle schoolers walk past my house by themselves and pick their friends up along the way. And I started thinking, like, what do we do? And I know that our nurses do call, and I'm not saying they don't, because I've had them call when I haven't called out. However,
If we don't make contact with the parent, we do a wellness check with the police, and they go out, and we don't wait until, like.
Yeah, the police knocked on our door one time when my daughter was ill, and I forgot to call.
It's actually fun.
Okay, so it's in effect. No one's ever knocked on my door, because I usually do remember, but I just wanted to make sure that.
Well, I forgot one time, and the police, I wasn't home, because I was at work, and the police knocked on my door and made sure my daughter was okay, and asked why she was home.
Okay, so we have protocol.
You know, another thing to point out, though, in terms of our budget, like, so important, not only that their nurses be in the building, but they're the ones that do this, like, you know, it's imperative.
That's why it's important to
It
the
is
community
important,
to
yes.
maintain the nurses, because they know
That's
all of
exactly
the
what I
things that
would
they
just
do.
said. Yep, our nurses do a whole lot more than just take care of our kids when they're in school.
It's an extra level of care that the community appreciates.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, then I need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
Motion made by John, seconded by Maria. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.